Welcome everybody to AI Opportunities in Business webinar. This event is sponsored by New Frontiers at the Atlantic Technology University, and I manage that particular program. So our agenda for today is I want to tell you a little bit about the New Frontiers program, and then we have our guest speaker today is Mark Kelly, founder of AI Ireland and author of two books. Then we'll have some case studies and a Q&A. So we should be done and dusted by 4 o'clock. So New Frontiers is available nationwide. It is a business startup program, ideally for people with innovation or an idea, a new idea to solve a business problem, with the potential to start a business, to hire people and provide jobs and do exports and so on. So it's delivered right throughout the country to the different universities. ATU is in Donegal, Sligo, Mayo, and Galway. So these are our programs, and this is the region we cover. So its characteristics of the idea is mainly it needs to be something new, so not a direct copy of something that's there already. So it could actually be related to something that's happening already, but an improvement. So the innovation can be the improvement. And it has to be for a market with an unmet need. So it's very much around satisfying a gap in the market, and this market should be either at home or abroad, but ideally the market should be large, which would include abroad. And that then would mean that it's also scalable. So it suits anybody who has an idea, they've been thinking about it for quite a while and they want to take it for a test drive, or if you've already started your business and you want to join the program to develop your business. So New Frontiers is it's a startup process and a development process, so it's not a course. The university does a lot of academic courses, but this is actually a development process. So we're not really we don't really have graduates at the end. What we have is we have new businesses being created. So it's available through all sectors. And this is an outline of the program. So we have 3-phase process. The first phase is it's run on a part-time basis. And the whole idea here is to investigate the business potential of the idea. It's run on a few evenings a week, roughly 2 hours an evening. This program starts in May, around the 26th of May, and runs until the end of June. And if the idea looks like it has business potential, then you have an opportunity to apply to the next part of the process, which is phase 2. And this is a full-time. So what we mean by full-time is full-time commitment to the business startup process. So you're actually developing your new business during the 6 months. So as I said, this is not a course. So what we mean by full-time here is not necessarily that you're in sitting in lecturers every week. It's actually building out your business. And then there is a phase 3 as well, which is a third phase in which we actually bring the business forward. So there is a €15,000 cash grant available to all applicants who are successful in phase 2. The entire package, when we include all of the webinars, the workshops, all the experts we bring from industry and so on, is valued over 40,000. It's important as well that if you start your business through New Frontiers, we do not take any equity. So this is completely support. There's no terms and conditions here, apart from the fact that simply we're all looking for a successful business as the outcome. So we have a community of support in our innovation hubs right throughout the university. So there's a lot of advice and expertise and feedback. We're connected to all the parts of the Irish startup ecosystem. Everybody in the program in phase 2 is allocated an industry mentor. So these are people who are out in the industry and who give a couple of hours a month to help entrepreneurs develop their business. So the workshops that we do approximately in phase 2 is about one a week. And they're delivered by experts from industry, and they're very often entrepreneurs themselves. So there's networking opportunities as well within our group and then within the wider community in the innovation hubs. You'll also have access to the research and development facilities in the university, right throughout the university. And ultimately, for those who are looking to seek investment because you have a big R&D journey ahead, part of the process will be getting ready for that to attract investment. So on your top right of the picture there, you can see the current group. These are they participate in phase 2 at the minute, which is drawing to a close. Our new program for 2024 is open. And these are examples of some previous businesses that have developed with the assistance of the program. Barry Flannery has a business in Clare, Galway. They specialize in providing power systems to basically displacing combustion engines in mining equipment and off-road vehicles. Emma has a sports technology company, and she has recently launched her new product. Michael has a software as a service, which is a booking system for car parking and other resources within the company. Circa's great business in Mayo. They actually have software as a service, a technology which models trucks, which helps in the assistance of prescribing which truck is the correct one for the business. Thomas Thompson, he's a company called Rockfield Medical. It's a medical company. Even though it's a medical company, Thomas's starting point was a patient, and that inspired him to solve a problem that he saw that was a treatment that was not very patient friendly. So he's really recrafted that, and he's now changing that industry. Yvonne Comer has a company called Rugby Smarts. They're using AI to interpret rugby games, and then as an output from that, they're able to create training programs to correct mistakes that are made for the following matches. Our program is open. It's the same website as you registered for this event, atuihubs.ie/New Frontiers. It's also available in Donegal at this address, Sligo and Donegal, at newfrontiers@northwest.ie. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute. Okay, so this is a ChatGPT. The website for ChatGPT, if you haven't used it before, is openai.com. When you register, this is the screen that you see. So I'm just going to show a practical example of how I use ChatGPT to help me market the program. So I've actually written in a question here. This is where it's a bit like Google in the sense that you're given an open box to write your text. So I've asked it a question here, which is create a lead magnet. So a lead magnet means, how do I attract people to the program? So a lead magnet to attract applicants to a business startup program called New Frontiers. And I gave it the website. It offers 40K of supports, including cash, grant from 50K to 22.5K. Ideally, people with innovation for world markets. So what I'm looking to do now is I'm asking ChatGPT to generate text that I can use in my marketing. So I'm just going to press this button here to send the question to the AI, and let's have a look at what it comes back. So you can see it's generating an answer here. It's picked up a lot of this from the knowledge that it has on the web, but also I included our website. So it's picking up a lot of information there. So you can see the response is giving me a title here: Unlock Your Potential with New Frontiers, Your Path to Innovation, and 40K in Support. So that's a heading. And then Welcome to New Frontiers, where groundbreaking ideas meet unparalleled support. You're ready to take your innovation to a global stage. Join us in a journey that could change the trajectory of your entrepreneurial career. With New Frontiers, you not only access a wealth of resources, but also the opportunity to tap into 40K support, including cash grants ranging from 15 to 25 to 22.5K. So let's embark on this transformative journey together. So this is content that it's generated that I can use now in my emails, in social media marketing, it may be in blogs, or if I need to publish an article. And here's more. It's done a list here as well of the things, of the key points that we offer: tailored support, financial backing, global opportunities, mentorship, and guidance. Okay, so and this is more here at the end, the call to action. Whether you're a visionary entrepreneur with a disruptive idea or a seasoned innovator looking to take your business to new heights, New Frontiers is your gateway to success. Just ask us to unlock the full potential of your innovation while accessing 40K in support, including cash grants of up to. So take the first step towards a brighter future and apply to New Frontiers today. So it's generated all this content. So what I can do now is I can copy this and I can put it into Word, and I can update it, I can personalize it, I can shorten it if I wish. Okay, so that's just a short example of using ChatGPT. So now on to our speaker of the day, this is Mark Kelly. So Mark is from AI Ireland. He's founded AI Ireland, and he's also and the author of 2 books. So as we go out through the webinar, if you have any question, just input it into the chat box, and we'll have a Q&A session at the end, and we'll get to it. So welcome, Mark.
Mark, sorry, your camera's on mute, or your sound is on mute. Mark, sorry, your sound is on mute.
Sorry, everyone. I'm just coming on now. But before I do that, I want to share something with you. So hello, everyone. Let's see. Now, let me see if this can play for everyone there. Rewind it back.
I would like to welcome you to Opportunities for Artificial Intelligence, AI, in business. In today's rapidly evolving landscape, businesses are increasingly leveraging AI to drive innovation, efficiency, and growth. Today, you will discover how AI can empower businesses to make smarter decisions, enhance customer experiences, and unlock new revenue streams. Whether you are a business owner or just curious, this session promises valuable insights and practical strategies to capitalize on the boundless opportunities presented by AI. I am sorry I will not be with you today, but you are in safe hands as my colleague Mark Kelly will do a fantastic job. As you may have guessed, I am Avatar. Welcome to the future. I would like to welcome you to opportunities for.
Now, hopefully you can hear me and see me now better. Did that go okay? Yeah, do you see
Perfect.
that?
Yep.
So, and can you see my slides okay? Just double checking with everybody.
Yes. Yep.
Fantastic. So that avatar I created is an off-the-shelf avatar, and I shared it with my parents on my birthday a few months back, and they just couldn't get over it. My dad actually thought it was me, and my mum asked, "You know, why are you speaking with a different accent?" And I explained to him that I created it in 60 seconds. It's a free software that you can use, and I'll talk a little bit later on about some of the applications of it. And my mom said, she said, if you would have asked me for money, I would have sent you money. So straight away she was thinking about how it could be utilized. And then my dad said, "Well, what about the elections?" And he had a good point, because we have half the population of the world. There's 90 elections going to happen this year. And people are very, very concerned about this technology from a deep fake perspective, because you don't necessarily know what's real and what's not real. Now, that one I showed is free, but you could pay about €1,500 and you will get a version of that is very, very challenging to spot if it's real or not real. And that's what people are now engaging with. 3 months ago in Hong Kong, 3 gentlemen joined a call, and it was an investor call, and they were asked, the fund accountant, to transfer $25 million to one of their customers' account. The fund accountant thought it was a little bit strange at the time, but he still did it. And when he got off the call, he saw that he was scammed. There was 3 deep fakes in the call, and they never got back that $25 million. So it starts to come up with these different types of concerns and worries. So the whole market will change. But don't worry, I'm not going to be talking about all concerns and negative aspects, but I wanted to give you an idea about some of the off-the-shelf products and some of the challenges that will come down the track on that. Okay. Now, so I founded AI Ireland in 2018, and what we do there is we showcase on the island of Ireland how AI is used, and we have over 150 episodes of the podcast where it talks about applied AI in Ireland, companies big and small doing it. We do different events, in person, virtual, and then we have the AI Awards, which happens each November, where we've had over 500 applications of applied AI on the island of Ireland. And I've actually gone through each one of those as well. The other hat that I wear is I'm the co-founder of a company called Aldis, and we're an AI staffing firm with offices in Ireland, Scotland, Austin, Texas, and New York. And we help people hire data scientists, machine learning engineers. And what I do day to day is I do executive search in AI and help companies, big and small, find between the top 3 to 5% of talent as well. And these are 2 books that I've written. AI Unleashed is about how you go from knowing nothing in AI right through to implementation stage. And then AI Unleashed Essentials is 100 questions asked in business, answered with 100 examples that bring to life the practicalities of how you can use it. And there's 7 use cases within that, and an A to Z glossary. It's kind of like a dummy's guide to AI. To give you a little bit of perspective on AI companies now in the world, there's 67,500 AI companies that are now being set up. And to give you a little bit more of a perspective on how much it will cost to train some of these models, it costs $191 million to train some of these AI models, and $25.2 billion was invested in generative AI in 2023. So it's incredible in terms of how this has just exploded over the years. Here's some of the companies that I've interviewed over there. There's kind of a snapshot on some of the brands that I've been able to speak to and talk about how they're actually using AI to solve a problem. And most importantly, what's the impact and what's the return on investment from that? From the 600 interviews plus I've done, very, very few people actually believe on what AI is and what it isn't in terms of a definition. And this is where you're going to have different people's perspectives on what actually constitutes as AI. And here's a brief quote that I like to use. When you look at the rate of innovation that's happened in the last 18 months or so. It's truly been incredible, and we're firmly in that third wave. And the question is when will we get to that fourth wave? And the question is, are AGI, sentient, has it got that kind of ability to take over the world? These are questions I'm regularly asked. And to be honest with you, I'd give you a different answer now that I gave you 6 months ago. And maybe you might want to get my opinion on that a little bit later. But when you think about how AI is actually all around us, the Instagram or TikTok feed that you might actually use day to day, that's powered by an algorithm. So if you actually like a certain subject, or if you put in your demographics, TikTok or Instagram is going to give you very, very similar profiles or relevance to what you're interested in. And when we think about AI, the majority of applications about AI are about personalization. So we can think about that from a simple turn of Netflix. I'm sure you have an account, your partner has an account, or maybe your kids have an account, and that's very, very specific to you. And how that learns is by likes up or down, or looking at your demographics, or how much you've actually looked at a show or a series. And what they use there is called a recommendation engine. And a recommendation engine is actually really, really important to get right. And the difference between getting a recommendation right by a couple of percentages could be the difference of 3 to 5 billion. So if you're making a purchase on Amazon, for example, at the end of that cart, you'll be offered different bundle packages. So people that bought these football boots, bought these socks or shorts, for example. And to get that bundle package right is so important for Amazon, but also the different types of retailers. So that's generating and looking at all the personal cookies that you've collected, your different experience on Amazon, to get that right. And if they get that right, you'll continue to go back to that store. But also context is important. If you go onto Amazon, you make a purchase for those shorts or socks or football boots, like we said, chances are the next time you go on the store, you're not going to make a purchase like that. You want to see different areas. And a recommendation engine that's not particularly good might refer you back to the previous products that you were on. But knowing that you made the purchase, now they're actually thinking about, well, what lifestyle projects would you might need, and build on that side of it too. We also have autonomous vehicles. So if you're in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, Texas, for example, you can get a Waymo taxi, and a Waymo taxi will drive you around those cities with nobody inside them. If you were to ask somebody a couple of years ago if that would be possible, they think you're crazy. And this is something that's really, really important, because every year, 1.4 billion people die on our roads every year. If we look at in Ireland, year on year, more people are actually dying on our roads. When we look at the Waymo taxis, over 3 million miles that they've done so far, and statistically, they're a lot safer than people that actually can drive cars or actually driving the cars. Now, that isn't necessarily a fair reflection, because you've got 7 trillion miles versus 3 million miles in terms of the data set that you're working off. But it gives you an indication about how autonomous vehicles are already going to be trying to change the lifestyle environment that we're in, and how we actually engage with them too. It's fair to say, though, when ChatGPT came to town in November 2022, everything absolutely changed, because what ChatGPT did under OpenAI is they put an interface to a technology that was already there, because John McCarthy, who's got Irish heritage, with his dad was from Cremona, County Kerry, he coined the term artificial intelligence in 1956. So it's not like it hasn't been around for a while. But with ChatGPT, they gave an interface to people to use it, engage with it. Tony gave an example of how he used it on the free version, and there's so much more to do, that people were inspired by it. So much so that over 100 million people signed up within 8 weeks, which is absolutely incredible when you actually think about it. From a Google perspective, where 97% of people were using Google search, Microsoft invested 14 billion into OpenAI that gave us ChatGPT. Suddenly they were taking that technology and introducing it to their Bing Copilot, and then they've got more market share, where that 97% of Google dominance has now gone to 91%, which you might not think sounds that much, but in terms of search, if you own search, you own the internet in so many ways. So here's that message there of 100 million in 2 months, just to give you the perspective of how quickly and how dominant this technology was. And then it's powered by NVIDIA's chips. So this person here is the co-founder of NVIDIA, and his name is Jason Hung. And Jason Hung, NVIDIA have been going over 20 years, but their stock price has absolutely skyrocketed. So to give you an idea, their market capitalization is $2.3 trillion. So you would have to combine all those other market caps of those firms to even come close to what NVIDIA did. And their chips are fueling all the different transformers and large language models that are out there. This is just a brief graph that shows that when Gen AI came to town, everybody within a senior leader's position at Wall Street, executives were under pressure to talk about artificial intelligence and what their Gen AI strategy was. So much so you could see it in every different shareholder report. Every different type of strategy was talking about what's your AI strategy, how are you using, how are you leveraging it. And then just to remind, 25.2 billion was invested in generative AI in 2023. So in today's presentation, I wanted you to think about AI opportunity in two ways. One is working a business so you can use it as a productivity tool. And the second way is if you're starting a business and you're thinking about new business opportunities that you can create. Now, I've been on the startup journey myself for 6 years now. I use these products myself. I have the fantastic position that I interview leaders in this field who are driving new products every day. And I get to see a lot of different products that are very good, but I've also kissed a lot of toads with products that aren't so good. So my goal today is to just share some of the products that I use myself, hopefully that you'll actually find some benefit from it. So this tool image I used there was created by DALL-E, and it was just a simple prompt that I said, create me an image for this presentation. And I said, I quite like the colors of Miami Vice, be a bit creative with it. And that's what I came up with it. So the first tool I think is very important that you use is a tool called Feedly. And what Feedly does, it's a market analysis tool. On a simple level, you have an app and you put in the terms that are very, very important to you. So for example, I'll put in artificial intelligence, or I might put in another term of the EU AI Act. That regulation is very, very important to me in terms of understanding it at the moment. And what we'll do is it will scrape all the different relevant articles and insights, and it will give all that information to you via email, but also on the app. So when I'm using it each morning, for example, I'll go into my Feedly app and I'll have very, very relevant articles to me. And how it works is as you press and watch and read the article, it will take note of what you're reading and what you're actually not reading. So then it's learning along the way to send you more suitable and relevant content. And here's some of the ways that you can actually use it for market intel. So it is the data and analysis side. So you're actually checking it for market trends, preferences, competitor strategies. It's also sentiment analysis. And this is where you're actually looking to gauge public sentiment, feedback. So for example, if you have an idea or if you're noticing if there's any trends in a certain area, it's a lovely way to actually check for that sentiment. And then predictive insights. So if you look at past history or past data, you're actually looking to think, well, what will actually happen in the future, and based on that. And as I mentioned, the competitor tracking is very, very helpful. And then real-time monitoring, so it's up to date, depending on how many updates you want at any one time. So when you look at AI tools for text, there's a variety of different examples out there. ChatGPT obviously kind of got first mover advantage, but then loads of other companies have then copycat or try to provide an alternative to that. You've got Gemini, you've got Claude and Anthropic, there's Perplexity, there's loads of really fantastic tools in this area. But I like to start off with ChatGPT because personally, I just find it so easy to use, so intuitive. If you get the paid version now, you get these GPTs. And the easiest way I can explain that is if you think about Google Play Store, where you've got all these different apps that you can download to do different things. With ChatGPT, you can do the same. So for example, you might want to get a specific GPT that helps you write articles, or maybe you want to get a GPT that gives you advice on legal compliance, for example. You can get all these there, and people are flocking to add these GPTs to it. Here's some of the ways that you can actually use ChatGPT for enterprises. So again, lead generation, sales assistance, so helping you craft different sales and marketing copy, code examples and snippets. So Microsoft, for example, 60% of the AI, 60% of the code that they write is now generated by AI. So you can imagine that people's roles have completely changed within Microsoft if you're in software development, where you're now more watching and viewing and speaking with the customer rather than cutting code, because they're so focused on that. Using ChatGPT to come up with specific questions or FAQs is also very, very helpful for websites. So you might go onto Google and stick in, what are the most suitable questions that a person might ask about travel, and you can collect them, and then you can put them into ChatGPT and say, these are the most requested questions from Google as of 2024 April. Please create an FAQ based on that, and please improve it. And it will create that FAQ, and then you can actually then tweak it by saying, I'd like you to become a persona of a marketing expert who has got years of experience building FAQs. Please improve this and make it better. Now, what I did there is I slightly changed the prompt, and the better you are at prompt engineering, which I'm going to talk a little bit later on about, is the art of the questions and giving extra context. The better and clearer you are with that prompt, the better that you will get. So we'll discuss that in a bit more detail, but ChatGPT, to be really successful with it, is all about managing that prompt and actually being effective with it. When you're actually looking at web design, there's quite a few products that I could talk about that I actually use myself that I think would be very, very beneficial to use. But I thought the best one to talk about initially would be Website Builder, would be Wix. Now, I just want to make sure, actually, I just want to make sure I've got the audio on here, so just bear with me. Actually, we don't necessarily need it. I'll just play the video. So. So what we have with Wix is this is where you're engaging with the chatbot and you're asking it to tweak it. Now, what it's like in reality using it, it's not going to be as perfect as this from my experience working with it, but it's still really, really good. Like within minutes, you're going to be able to have a website as a template to get going on it and then to tweak it. And it's something that, as an alternative to WordPress, I'd strongly recommend you to look at it. And once you get that up and running, like anybody that's like a technical 10-year-old will be able to use this. It's very, very straightforward. The cost, I think, is like 11 or 12 euro per month. So it's a really, really lovely way to get a POC or MVP product out there to show what you're doing, as it's going to generate a lot of these images for you. So then when you're actually looking at AI tools for design, so if you're working in a small company or you're working for a large company, being able to do some graphic design and being able to utilize some of these tools, it's just so productive, so helpful. It makes your brochures look a lot more professional. If you're doing any banners, for example, or if you're creating any different type of content for events, all these tools are very effective, and they're all really, really good, to be fair to them. Canva AI is my preference. I think the free version is fantastic. Some of the ways that you can use it, it's so intuitive in terms of how you can manage it and bring the different options to the table, but there's also so much variety that you can you keep consistent with the brand that you have, but also be very creative. So some of the tools that I use for that is where you're doing different prompts, where I want to add in different images to the brochures that I have, or I want to be a little bit creative in terms of changing the gradient or the colors. And again, it's very, very seamless. Now, one thing you need to take consideration, I actually should have said this at the start of the presentation, is whoever came up with the term Copilot is a genius, because it is an augmentation. So it's the human and the AI working together. So it's not that there's just too many kind of too many tweaks needed for it literally just to press the button and it's going to be perfect. So before you're going to release this or put it out to the open, you still need to go over it and kind of clarify extra points. And sometimes you need to spend a little bit more time doing it. But if the software is good, it will learn from your preferences and it'll start to understand your persona too. So from the digital marketing space, I think if you get your head around some of these tools, and if you haven't before, it can really, really add a significant amount of value to do that. And what I would say the easiest way to do it is go on YouTube, stick in what you want to use, plus AI tips, and there'll be somebody on the video that will be actually able to tell you what to do, how to do it. And they usually break it down into bite-size kind of bites that it makes it very straightforward to use. And a lot of these products are free as well, so you can actually get started and get a lot of value from them. This is called Jasper AI, and what Jasper AI does is it helps you write content by using AI. But what's really, really nice about it is the content can be split across all the different social media platforms you have. So all you need to do is come up with the idea of what you'd like to talk about, and it will help you craft that content. I've got a short video that I'll show you of a demonstration now.
You'll see a dashboard like this. This will be your home base. Over here, you can access your favorite templates. To favorite a template, press the star icon in the top right of any template. This graph will show you how many words you've generated over the last 7 days. Documents should be used for writing longer content like blog posts, emails, social posts, or even books. All content Jasper produces for you is automatically saved to your AI outputs, including any generations inside of a document. Projects act as folders for organizing your work. You can create a new project for anything you'd like. Many users create new projects for each client or create separate folders for blog posts, ads, etc.
So basically what they're doing is they're kind of like building on ChatGPT, but making it very simple in terms of different categorizations when you want to use it, or kind of like this kind of platform that makes it off the shelf where you can integrate it with Instagram or LinkedIn or things like this. And it's getting better every day. But there's also alternatives like Writesonic, and thousands are actually popping up over the last couple of months even.
You'll see a dashboard.
So from a business perspective, there's some CRMs out there that I think are very, very good. Again, these are free that you can actually start to use. And I think, from my experience, very few of them are actually bad. And what you're able to do with these is you're able to gather insights from what's on your business CRM, and then help you to actually craft emails, summarize emails, be able to email people at the most appropriate time, because there's a higher likelihood that they'll respond to your email at that time, and actually generate insights. However, it does take time to actually play around with these tools, get to understand them, and you have to be willing to put that time in to get these insights. But if you're getting the insights from it, you're going to feel like you're actually making progress, and you're scaling faster, and you're working more effectively with your team. This is HubSpot. HubSpot, myself, I think is the best off-the-shelf product. Again, it's free, so you can use it. It's a really good opportunity to look at the dashboards, get insights in terms of who you should be speaking to, when you should be speaking to, what loop needs to be closed, integrate the details from LinkedIn. So there's a variety of different ways that you can leverage that platform. So AI tools for video. Video has just moved so quickly that some of the innovations that I'm seeing now, like, I'm just absolutely blown away. And it's now weekly that these providers are just getting better and better and better. And like if I would have given this presentation last month, I would have given you a different product or service to use. And I'm sure I'll be giving you a different product or service to use if I was to do it again. But this is where I'm currently at with it. So the avatar I created was with a firm called HeyGen. But you can also use Synthesia. And what you do in that is you just record yourself using the webcam, or you can just record yourself off your camera, and then you just save it and you upload it on there. And you can create an avatar to do training videos, sales, outreach, and then there's the equivalent that you can also get an off-the-shelf avatar that's created by HeyGen or Synthesia that you can actually use. And then depending on paying credits, or you're given about 30 credits per month, you can actually have training and development videos created for you. So what you do is you'll generate the text, and then the text allows those people to speak, and then you can actually use tools like Canva to create really nice graphics in the background that's around your brand as well. So again, it takes a little bit of time. It's not perfect. As you saw, my avatar, my voice is different. I'm twitching and things like that. But again, it's free, so it's a lovely way to start. Now, when you use the free software, you only get is kind of a limited amount of credits. You have to pay around €60 per month to kind of get more credits to build on that. So depending on the business that you're in, it could be very, very helpful for your business. So we've created well over 600 podcasts, 700 podcasts as the companies that I've been involved in. And turning around podcasts very quickly is something that's really important to ourselves. Creating really, really nice scripts and being able to use micro content from that is really, really important as well. And Descript is a great product to, video edit, create content. Lovely tool to get rid of as, and I'm going to show you a short video on that to kind of bring it to life. Let me press play.
If you're like me, you tend to do a lot of takes when recording your videos. I mean, it took me like 13 takes just to say that. And editing out all those bad takes can be not only annoying, but super time consuming. But with Descript, you can remove all those bad takes in seconds. All you have to do in your project is import your media, or you can use the built-in recorder. From there, just ask AI to remove retakes, and you can either apply them to your script or to a new composition. And that's it. So no more watching yourself mess up a line for the 30th time. And this is just one of dozens of the magical AI features that you'll find in Descript, like removing filler words, generating AI speech, correcting eye contact, and fixing bad audio. And there's more. Descript is the super powerful all-in-one editor that makes it fast and easy to make podcasts and videos that look and sound good. And you can use this baby for free. So give it a try today.
I wish I had that back in 2013 when I was doing my podcasts. It's such a helpful tool. What I should have said, by the way, at the start of the presentation, I've got no affiliations with any of these products or services. I'm not getting paid any commission. So AI tools for photo, again, this is incredible what's happening. I could have added in more details to it because it's just incredible, the applications, how you're able to use these photos to be more creative, create really, really premium content. Personally though, I use DALL-E. DALL-E 3 is free on Microsoft Copilot, so if you use that, you can create your images on that. I've got the ChatGPT 4 version, so I am able to create different images on DALL-E. So depending on how effective your prompt is, you're going to become amazing at adding really engaging photos that kind of tell your story of your brand, for example, or logo. So it's very common for people to create brands, logos using these different types of tools or images or presentations, and just makes it unique. So as I kind of spoke a little bit about at the start, prompt engineering is the most important aspect if you're using any of these AI tools to get the most out of it. So if we talked about ChatGPT, the clearer and most specific you can be with your prompts and the context that you provide will get you better results. And you can then start to become more effective at refining your responses. So if you put more attention into the prompts and getting that right, you'll get the most out of these tools. So this, for example, was a very specific prompt about a lady walking down in Japan, in the nighttime, and it's looking a little bit futuristic. And depending on how you phrase that or tweak that, you could say, and it's snowing, or you could say it's in the 1960s, whatever you might say. It's going to give you a different prompt. And this is from OpenAI's Sora. And OpenAI's Sora has yet to be released to the general public, but it is coming. And what this promises to do is to create incredible videos that are actually as good quality as like MGM Studio style, with 30 seconds to 60 seconds, based on how specific the prompt is. The technology is so advanced that they've actually just needed to test it around, because there's a real worry that this could actually eliminate movie studios, which I don't foresee happening. But you could see that people would be thinking, okay, my production has now gone to a completely different level. Here's just an example of some prompts that you might want to find to use that could be helpful depending on the different types of jobs that you have. And the lovely thing that you can do with ChatGPT or Copilot is you can actually say, help me create the perfect prompt for this, and that'll actually help you. What I see happening coming down the track is companies having these prompts embedded into their products, so you're less likely to need to be as effective at it. But now I'd still think it's important to actually spend time understanding these prompts and going through that with detail. Hopefully that was helpful. That is my presentation today. Again, a very, very big topic, so I tried to keep it as simple and condensed as I could. And if you want to connect with me or reach out, please feel free to do so. And that is myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. We'll have a Q&A opportunity in a few minutes, but first we have two participants, two entrepreneurs that are starting their business with the support of the current New Frontiers program. So these two participants started the program in last year, and the program is now finishing. So our first guest entrepreneur is Ciara Graney. Welcome, Ciara.
Hey, Tony. Hi, everybody. Yeah, no, great to pop on and chat a little bit. About this time last year, I started my own business. I set my sights on New Frontiers. Actually, I don't know if you know that, Tony, but it was coming for you. And I was very fortunate to get one of the places on this cohort, and it's been a great experience. My business is Whitespire, and my background is in finance, operations, and supply chain. My career to date has predominantly been around operational excellence, building out shared service teams, and effectively scaling teams, doing more with less. Which is why I suppose AI, coming into the picture over the course of the last year, particularly as I've been trying to build up the business, has been quite useful. And there's been a few pitfalls as well. So I think, when you're coming from a corporate environment where you've got marketing teams and sales teams and all these different things, and you've got a much more defined remit, it's not as clear, what you should be doing when you're trying to do things like marketing, for example. And so starting off the business last year and looking at those type of things, I took a few sort of side lanes down through the whole AI experience, as I was trying to figure out, what will I put on social media, and how do I, write my documents, and how do I get visuals and all of that sort of stuff set up. And it did take a little bit of time, but it wasn't lost on me that in a business where I'm focused on operational efficiency, that I was getting caught up in knots trying to figure out the AI side of things. But I found my way. GPT-4 I have found quite useful over the course of the last 6 months. I found ways of writing prompts that make things easier. I bring my expertise to the table, and then I let the GPT kind of frame it and put it in such a way that it takes that sort of heavy lift of writing, drafting, rewriting, off the table. So that's been quite good. I think in general, it's a good tool to use. What I would say is you need to toggle between treating it like a well-informed executive assistant and an unreliable friend, right? So it's good insofar as it can do a lot of work for you and kind of, you know, take away some of that heavy lift of drafting and writing, provided that you don't rely on it and you actually go back and validate what's been said and what's been put into the work that you're putting out into the world. So I think it's really important to make sure that you're, you know, making sure that it's on brand, you're validating and all that sort of stuff. So overall, I think it's worth dipping your toe in. I think you can go down so many rabbit holes and lose a lot of time. So I would say restrict it to one or two different products that you'll try out and work with over time. So yeah, that's my AI story, particularly on the startup journey and the New Frontiers journey. I've got a QR code there. If anybody wants to join any more webinars, I do have another one coming up in a few weeks, the third in the spring series. And it's around decision making in scaling companies and how we can use decision making for operational efficiency. But that's pretty much that's it for me. I think, Tony, I would highly encourage anybody on the call thinking of considering a new business or getting started to take a look at New Frontiers. It's a great support system.
Thanks, Ciara. And I think from working with you as well, I'm pretty confident that Whitespire is going to be a fantastic contribution to the management function of a lot of companies at home and abroad. So well done, and thank you for that. So our next guest and also a New Frontiers participant is David Callan. Hello, David.
Hi, Tony, and hi, everybody. Ciara and Mark, great, yeah, very informative sessions there. So I created Wellmarket about 7 years ago. It's a healthcare business and marketing mentoring team, and we also do like done for you services around like typical marketing stuff like web design, marketing, process, and task automation. Our target market, as I said, is health and wellness. So it's like medical businesses, mental health professionals, complementary therapists, etc. So I was also in the New Frontiers program, which started last year. You know, can definitely attest to it being a great journey. The business we're working on right now is to basically building a business to equip therapists to become more confident and successful business owners with basically like online courses, group mentoring to basically to bridge the expertise gaps that they have. You know, whilst they're great at what they do, they often fall down on the functional business side. Another area, we're hoping to help people a lot with is around, specific AI and automation solutions, which, can empower those people like therapists to really streamline their practices, reduce their admin overwhelm, and, focus more on what they do best, which is, spending time with patients. How do we use AI and automation right now? Well, it's been an exciting experiment so far. There's real power in AI, but when you couple it with automation tools, it can really transform most people's business. One example of automation we are implementing now with a lot of clients is using AI and automation tools, for example, to create their social media content. So like, how does that work? Well, one example could be if you receive an email, like a newsletter by email, you receive it by email from a specific sender, or it could be from like multiple different senders that you subscribe to. We're going to then take that info and repurpose that into social media content. Well, how do we do that? We can, for a start, we would create like different GPT instances. So different like GPTs focused on specific social media channels. So we might have one trained on how to create social media posts for Twitter, one trained on how to create content for LinkedIn, and maybe another one on how to write scripts for Instagram Reels and TikTok. So for like the video solutions. What we do is like we take these GPTs and we select the most engaging stories from that newsletter, and those GPTs can then rewrite that content to suit the social media channel, whether it's Twitter, LinkedIn, or whatever, and recreate content, to fit the parameters of that social media channel, which you can then, download into your database, whether that's Airtable or Excel or, whatever database you use. We can then also use DALL-E, as Mark noted before, to create it's ChatGPT AI image generation. Based on the prompts that were created, we can use that to create the images, and then we can also automate the actual posting of this stuff to Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever the social media channel is. And there are, whilst we've heard a lot about the AI tools, there are these automation tools which can also help greatly, like Zapier or Make is another one, which is like really, really good and like transformative in what you can do. So, we're in exciting times, and that's for sure. So in terms of New Frontiers, I think the fact that Tony and the New Frontiers program already have an AI session, for startups like yourselves, it's a real testament to their ambition and the effort to keep local startups marching forward. I wouldn't underestimate the support that New Frontiers can bring. It's very comprehensive, the quality of the modules, the experience of the guest speakers, the mentoring, and the support systems that are put in place. The business startup can be, it can be a lonely journey. Not so much when you're on the New Frontiers program. You're in there with a bunch of people. Everyone has a network, so you might encounter 100 people over the course of the program. That's 100 networks. It's a lot of, there's a lot of potential there. There are many success stories out of New Frontiers, as Tony alluded to at the outset. And there are solid reasons why that's the case. Awesome as they all are, they have to navigate tough obstacles as well. And for sure, New Frontiers will have steered them around many of those challenges, and all without taking any equity. So it's a no-brainer in terms of the deal that you can potentially get here. Finally, I suppose I came from a finance background initially, and one of the often heard comments I've heard is that many businesses fail not because it was a bad idea, but because they ran out of cash. Well, there are many potholes on the road to success, and the smart entrepreneur will mitigate the risk, and they'll avoid as many of the screw ups and the potholes as they can. And New Frontiers, definitely helps you there. And it's easy to say you ran out of money, but in most cases it was poor planning or bad market research, making wrong decisions without experience, data, mentoring, or peers around you. You get all of that in New Frontiers, so it's hard to put a price on that.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and just to clarify, David, the opportunity and the unmet need gap that you're pursuing is that for therapists in particular, the business of running a business is onerous. So you have all those business functions around marketing, finance, and in particularly nowadays, compliance, GDPR, all of that needs attention, it needs knowledge, it needs know-how, as well as being a good therapist. So, your aim is to take a lot of that heavy lifting off the therapist as the business owner, and make that journey easier. Yeah, so it's well done, and thank you as well for coming along today and sharing your experience. So we're nearly done. I'm just going to do one last thing, one update from from the last demonstration I gave you, and that is at the very start. I showed how I asked ChatGPT to write marketing content to promote the program, and it came back with all of this, which we talked about. While we're on the program, I just asked it one more question. I said, create a marketing plan. And this is one of the things we need to understand with working with an AI, is that it remembers context. So in a way, it's a little bit around like talking to a person. So if you want to get the best out of ChatGPT or any of the AIs, as Mark mentioned, you have to be good around about telling it stuff. What's called prompting. But a good way to think about this is if you met a complete stranger and you want to tell them something about what you do or whatever, you actually give them context first. And it's the same with the AI. And the wonderful thing about the AI is that it remembers the last thing you said. So it's like having a conversation. So when you move on to the next question, it's able to keep in context the last question and answer as well. So I had asked it to create that marketing content, and it came back with all of this, which we talked about at the start. And then I said one simple statement. I said, create a marketing plan. And it came back with an executive summary of the marketing plan, what the objectives of the plan is, what the target audience is, what are the strategies I should use: digital marketing, content marketing, partnerships and outreach, public relations, PR, community branding. And these are all the things that we do as well. And then measure everything, measure all the efforts, all the channels, all the marketing messages that's going out in the different channels to see what's effective. And then a question of budget and what the conclusion is. So that's a follow-on example. Okay. So we are nearly done. I did ask if anybody had any questions to put it into the question or chat box. And so I've one or two here that we can ask. So one comes from John. It says, "Hi, Mark. Is there any copyright or IP issues where with the images that are used in the creation of designs by AI?" You're on mute now, Mark, before you talk.
It's a really, really interesting point, because Microsoft, OpenAI, and New York Times are involved in a big law battle about copyright. And New York Times has said OpenAI's taken their content and plagiarized it. Microsoft has said this is like the VHS moment back in Hollywood, where you were worried about recording some of the movies on TV. It was going to put Hollywood out of business. So as it stands, you can't say that you created or take credit for some of these images if you're going to try to put it out there. So there was a famous painting that won an award that was done by AI, and its founder, or artist, you should say, tried to get the credit, get it painted in the US, and the painting office saw this and said, no, not a chance. So you actually can't go down that route. Now, a lot of people feel that the current copyright laws that we have currently aren't fit for purpose, because AI has changed so much the whole landscape. So we've got different legislation now with the EU AI Act. You've got different legislation in the US as well. And this is a really, really hot topic, because you have some artists who are creating images and they don't want to give it to the algorithms to learn from, because different versions of what they have will come up in different forms. So it's a to be confirmed, to be honest with you, John.
Okay, so I suppose there's kind of two elements to that, Mark, isn't there? One is it drawing from images that are out there that might be copyright?
Yeah.
And the other one, is it so if it's generating images, well then because it's new, it can't be owned by anybody else. So yeah, those are the two aspects, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, it's a burning platform. Different people are going to have different perspectives, so it's fascinating to see which way it's going to go. But like, if your business is creating images and you're seeing your images being manipulated or taken, I can see where you're going to have an issue. But one thing you're seeing in AI is it's very hard to try to say you own something because it's moving so quickly, and the bar just keeps getting raised.
I guess the big risk is if you were using AI to generate marketing images, that you will be safe in the knowledge that they're generated images, that they're not copied from somewhere else, and it might be belong to somewhere else, in which case they should be safe to use. Yeah, okay. So, and question from Joachim, having an idea, 1 second, someone's just popped up on my screen and hit the question all of a sudden. So it was a question as to whether to go for a commercialization fund rather than New Frontiers. Joachim, that's a question for me, I think. So I don't see the two of them as being one or the other. Very often, people can do New Frontiers initially. New Frontiers is a very different proposition to commercialization. So to get to commercialization, you need to do a lot of work around developing your IP, proving out the business, proving the market, and so on. And actually, that's the space that New Frontiers operates in. Commercialization fund is much larger sums. They're probably up in the hundreds of thousands, whereas New Frontiers is just that early development stage, which is the idea, or early startup. So I hope that answers your question. Some other questions may have come in. Let me just check the chat box. I don't know if you can see the chat box as well, Mark, can you?
I have one here that came in. Tomas sent it in. He said, thanks very much, Mark. It was very interesting. His question is about Microsoft Copilot. You mentioned it a few times. Can you explain a bit more about what it is and how it can be used?
Yeah, so if you could think about it, so Microsoft invested 14 billion into OpenAI. That figure might be up a little bit more or less, but circa that. And what they did is they've got the best from OpenAI in terms of technology, and they've got that GPT or ChatGPT, but they've got a Microsoft version of that. Now, the positives of using Copilot is unlike ChatGPT, is you get to see everywhere that Copilot has come up with the answers. So there's reference points or links. I should have said this in the presentation. So you know where the information is sourced, so you can feel comfortable with it, that it's not a hallucination. What a hallucination means is where it's coming up with wrong information. It's convinced it's right, but it wants to give you an answer, but it's wrong, right? So you always have to fact check this. So Copilot is, with the latest Microsoft versions or packages or Windows and Teams that you have, is like a companion that will help you do tasks such as, let's say you're doing PowerPoint. You can say, create me a presentation about AI in the world of 2024, create me a presentation about global warming, and it will create the slides, the content for you. Now, you're still going to have to tweak it and fix it, but from going from an idea to 20 to 30 slides created, that's what it's looking to try to do. Or it might do stuff like summarize conversations that you have, or give you ideas or insights in terms of data that you have. You can analyze it. So Microsoft will be really, really driving this adoption for you to upgrade your packages to get Copilot and to get it introduced. However, some companies don't necessarily want to be able to use these tools because they're concerned about where the data is going, how it will be managed, things like that. Microsoft are very clear to say, you've got ownership of the data, it's going to be anonymized and things like that. But some companies will be hesitant about doing it. But the easiest way to check out Copilot is go on to Microsoft Edge, stick in Copilot, and then there's opportunity to use it there, and you use it in seconds. And what's better than ChatGPT is you get to use DALL-E 3 for free to create images. So it's a wonderful playground just to get into.
Brilliant. I see Microsoft are integrating Copilot into everything now, into Excel and into Word and into PowerPoint. Yeah, so, okay, so question from Nate. It says, hi, Mark. Thanks a lot for the presentation, was terrific. Question, what AI engine would you recommend for voice to writing, like the opposite of Descript?
Do you know what? There's quite a few ones out there at the moment, and some of them are a little bit hit and miss. I quite like 11 Labs. So if you go into 11 Labs, I believe they've got a version of what you want there. And there's a wonderful company called T-Pro, and T-Pro are in healthcare. And what they do is, if you could imagine, doctors are constantly writing down all the time, taking notes. I was surprised to see that 50% of doctors' time is actually going through their notes and not dealing with the patient. What T-Pro is basically you just talk and it will write the notes for you, take in all the colloquial terms and terminology that you have, and be seamless in getting those notes down. So I would say check out 11 Labs and T-Pro. T-Pro in terms of just look at the demo about how good it is, but I'm sure there's off-the-shelf products that you can use to start with.
I think Mark, actually, as well, Descript have a, I don't know, it's on their website, it's like it's a partner or part of their business, which is exactly that. It's called Lyrebird, and it does like it basically, and there's GPs in Australia using that like all the time now, where it's like it's transcribing the notes as they're doing their work. It's amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, hopefully you find that helpful.
Great, thank you. Next question. I use ChatGPT and currently have one ridiculously long thread that knows all about my business. Is there a more efficient way of doing this, or a different AI that I can use that would learn everything about my business in a way that I can organize things better? So I guess it's that long conversations about learning. There is a way in which you can create your own AI, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. So like that you can actually learn from you. And I remember Kira actually, on our call before, was sharing how she'd actually spent a bit of time doing that for her own business. I'm not sure, Kira, if you want to share an example, because I thought that was very relevant.
Yeah, I've got probably about 3 GPTs that I've trained for different things. So one of them, again, kind of on the business value proposition, target markets, all that sort of stuff. And it just means that I can upload all of my history with GPT-4. It can go onto my website and it can kind of review everything that I've got up there, and it can use all of that data as well. And so then every time I use that GPT, it's pre-trained. And so I can like speed up that process of talking to it. The other thing you can do with it is you can say things like, like be practical, get to the point, don't have fluffy language. GPT can be quite verbose, and so you can kind of tell it that what your preferences are. So I have found that quite good. And then like the other thing about it would be, I think, particularly on social media and stuff, like it's a fight for attention now, and there's just so much content that's out there that for people to engage with your content, the quality needs to be quite high. And so for that reason, I think like it's really important when you do that and you tailor it and you make it really specific to you, but then you throw the human eye over it and you tailor it even further. That helps you get away from that sort of just real generic sort of posts or really generic sort of way of preparing documents. So it can help just make it more your own.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, so another question here. This is from Cormac. Good presentation, Mark, thanks. Do you have any thoughts or see any issue with feeding AI with proprietary or sensitive information?
Okay, so this is very important. So what I would say is if you're using the free ChatGPT version, you need to anonymize the data, because you need to work on the basis of you don't know where that data is going. So that's first and foremost. And from a customer perspective, you need to do that. Now, the EU AI Act is coming down the track, and in May it will be law. And you've got 6 months to start to apply to some of the prohibitive applications of AI, which I'm sure no one's doing on this call. But 2027 is when it will become complete law, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with data, who's got access to it, what's being said. Now, OpenAI have said that on their enterprise version, where if you have three or team version where you've got 3 people in your team using it, that data is secure, it's anonymized, they don't have to access it, similar to WhatsApp. But what I'd say is, if you've ever seen the terms and conditions for some of these companies, they could be as big as this, right? So it's being conscious that when you're on these, be careful what you're saying, what you don't, because it can be taken away, right? And this is the same with anything that's going on the cloud. They'll only give you 99% certainty that it won't be hacked or whatever, because nobody can give 100% certainty. So I would be mindful of that currently.
Okay, I think that's about it. We have looked at all the questions. I think it's important that that there is a lot of information there about AI, and some of it is technical. So some of it is kind of under the bonnet stuff, like the neural networks and the algorithms and the large language models and so on. That's all the engineering part of it. But really, the big opportunity here is how to use AI productively. And there's fantastic opportunities for that. Certainly, anybody either starting a business or running a business is going to be more productive and therefore more competitive by using AI and as tools in the business to achieve tasks. And that's certainly something that we all should be aware of. So there are also some videos on YouTube around various different people who curate AI tools are worth looking at. So you can have a look at that as well. Some of them are quite valuable. So as we... Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. One last question that just got in the nick of
No
time.
Yeah.
Yes, Adrian is asking, hi Mark, great session. Do you know of any AI for generating house or landscape designs?
Oh,
that's a good question. I don't, but maybe Midjourney. But I'd be lying if I said so. But what I would ask you to do then is go on to Microsoft Edge, because it has the most up-to-date information, and just ask it that question on Copilot, and I'm sure it will come up with alternative. It will give you ideas. Or I'd say is go onto YouTube and stick in the word and add in plus AI to it, and that usually comes up with very relevant videos, because YouTube is a AI search in itself with all keys, tags and stuff like that. And those videos will be tagged with the timestamp of when your information is relevant as well, which makes it really good. One tool that's very effective for that is checking out Perplexity, which is an alternative to ChatGPT and Copilot. I think you might get some value from doing that too. So hopefully not haven't thrown too much at you there.
Super, thanks.
wonderful. There is a website as well called futuretools.io. And what you can do is, so this site is actually, it has something like, there are thousands of AI tools on it. And it's like a search engine for AI tools. So that's worth having a look at as well. It's futuretools.io. Michelle, you might put that in the chat box for everybody. So I might just do a little quick share of it before we finish. That's it there. So it's futuretools.io. So for instance, if I was looking for something on motion, say something on marketing, I can just go, show me the tools in marketing, and let's say I just want the free ones. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of tools for marketing. And if I want to look at ones that has been reviewed, the guy who created this website is called Matt Wolf, and so Matt has rated these as well. So he's coming down to this one, so he highly recommends this one. So it's like a little its own search engine for AI tools, futuretools.io. So it's worth having a look. Okay, so as we wrap up this time, are we good to wrap up this time, Michelle?
Yes, no more questions, thanks.
Yeah, wonderful. So as we finish, today was sponsored by New Frontiers, and New Frontiers, as I said at the start, is it's a business startup support process that provides funding and an entire startup and development process for anybody who wants to be following taking the journey of entrepreneurship. So we're open at the minute, and the website will be open until the 13th of May. So if you have an idea that you want to explore, not just AI, by the way, because it's basically any innovation for any business sector will be fine. So just pop it in there. We've supported medical, food, technology, mainly solving business problems that a market has an appetite to spend money on to solve. And that's basically if it fits that particular profile. So if you have an idea, and even if you want to just check it out, just put your hat in the ring, and it's a very short application form, and we'll be happy to support you. So finally, thank you, Michelle, for organizing today's event. Thank you as well to Mark Kelly, our main speaker, and to our guest speakers, Kira and David. And also, finally, thank you for attending. I hope you found it beneficial. And AI is here, so take full advantage. I think those who are on the AI wave are going to be leading businesses of the future. So thank you, everybody, and good luck.